Each of the fingers has a first, second, and third phalange, and on that border between those phalanges are lines which can indicate a lot about your personality. So why don't we delve into those now? Tingles with Lifeline. Daily ASMR videos. Hello. Welcome to your Chiromancy session. Yes, Chiromancy is the official term for palm reading. Very delighted to have you here today and to observe your palm and see your life through that lens. Is this the first time you've ever had a reading, or... Okay, so basically within your palm, as we can see here, there are a variety of lines, and the different way that these lines form gives me, the chiromancer, a little bit different information about your life that I can convey to you. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll use this illustration just to show you how we're kind of working our way through your palm, and then I'll give you the reading for what your specific palm says, okay? Wonderful. So the first line that we like to look at is this line here, right across the middle of the hand, is the line of the heart. So if you just extend your hand, here, let me just warm my hands up. I don't want to get you cold. Just take your hand in mine. We'll look at your heart line. Okay, so looking at your heart line here, you can see it begins below your index finger. This generally means that you're content in your love life. And then we can see that it's long and a bit curvy, which is good. That means that you freely express your love and emotions. Very loving person. We can see that in the line. Then let me just look a little closer. You can see right about right there. Can you see that little circle? Yeah, so that's called an island. And that marks sadness or a period of depression in your life. So you've got it right there around your ring finger. Okay. Yeah, no, that's probably what that's referring to. So you only have the one, so it doesn't look like there's too much chance of that recurring. But that's what that island represents, is that period of your life. Okay, so that's your heart line. That one there. So when you look down at your heart line, you can see that long curvy line showing your expressive love, that little island which shows your period of depression, and then also just basically where that line begins, that simply indicates that you're quite content with your love life. Oh, that's good to hear. It's such a difficult area of life for many people, so you're very lucky. Now we'll next be looking at your headline. Just generally this little bit straighter line right across the middle. And this has a bit more to do with matters of intellect and that sort of thing. So if you just put that out, okay, let's begin. Okay, so with your headline, seeing it's probably about a medium length. It reaches your ring finger. This is about the most common length that you see for a headline. And it shows that you're smart and have good potential. So your intellectual capabilities aren't anything that's ever going to hold you back. But I'm sure you knew that. And we can see that, so if you see the lifeline is this line here, which is what we'll be looking at next. You can see between your lines there's quite a clear separation. Yeah, you see that? If you look down, you can see there's just that distinct amount of area between, yeah. And that means that you have enthusiasm for life and you thirst for adventure. Yeah. No, it's all written there in your poem. It's all right there. Now next, we'll look at your lifeline. Now, previous chiromancers in less reputable areas have talked about the lifeline being an indication of how long you live. That's completely incorrect. It's more to do with the quality of your life. It's not a quantitative measure at all. Just to get that out of there. Your poem doesn't tell you how long you're going to live. Yeah. So let me then, we'll look to your lifeline. So your line is a little bit shorter. It's quite shallow as well compared to other lines. This is something you probably need to be aware of so that you can be careful with that. Because what that indicates is that you're easily manipulated or controlled. So you probably need to be on guard a little bit more. Some people have a very keen eye for that sort of thing and can really easily avoid it, but you need to be a little bit more vigilant in that area just because you are just a little bit more susceptible. So it's a good thing to be aware of. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's something good to be aware of. Now, you can see it reaches quite down to your palm. And this means that you are a bit cautious in your relationships, which, that being marked with the other aspect of your lifeline, is probably a good thing. So that's good, and it's great to see that you're content now with your love life, so that's wonderful. Now if you look along your lifeline, you can see these two little islands. So these indicate times where you have been hospitalized, have a severe physical injury or illness. Okay, so it does look like we have another one coming in your life. Always good to be prepared to know that things like that may be coming. So you do have another one that will be coming. Now the last thing to look at is, do you see that break? Right, there's quite a solid break between there. And that indicates a major change in your lifestyle. Yeah, if you've already been through that, that's purely what that's indicating. A change in religion is obviously a major lifestyle change, so that's what shows that break in the lifeline. So that is our three major lines: the line of the heart, the line of the head, and the line of life. Next, we're going to look at your mount, which when you hold like this isn't that easy to tell, but if you cup your hand, I'll need you to cup it like that. And we can see how the areas, they come up a bit differently. So you might see my Saturn mount is quite dimpled in, whereas my other three are a bit larger. And then over here we have the Venus mount. So we have Jupiter, Saturn, Apollo, Mercury, and Venus. So we'll look at your 5 mounts to see what those are indicating. So if you can just cup your hand for me. Yeah, wonderful. And we'll just look at your mounts. Okay. So looking at your Venus mount, it's definitely large. You can see it poking up, can't you? This indicates that you have a desire for instant gratification, that you have a lot of energy, maybe a little bit of promiscuity, even if it's just, liking to flirt and that sort of thing. So you can see that in your mount. Your Jupiter mount is barely present, which is fine, but it can indicate a lack of self-confidence, so that can contribute to, why you might be easily manipulated or controlled. And it can indicate dishonesty, though it doesn't in every case. I assume with you it doesn't. You seem like a very honest person. I would say it's more to do with the self-confidence area. And that's not fixed. No, not at all. Now on to your Saturn mount, which is also quite low. This can indicate that you're prideful, a little bit quick-tempered. If we just see it come up there. But it also indicates an interest in arts and literature. Yeah. And then your Mercury mount, well, it's quite large, isn't it? Your Mercury mount means you may sometimes talk too much, but you're quick-witted and full of energy, so it doesn't bother people too much. So keep talking. They'll put up with you because they love your wit. Definitely. Now, to get a really detailed reading, can actually begin to look at each of your phalanges. And it's not actually the phalanges themselves, which have your fingerprint, which are, very individualized, obviously. Also individualized are the lines crossing your phalanges. So this is your first phalange, your second phalange, and your third phalange. And each one of those has something that it indicates. So you can rest your hand back out so I can really inspect those fingers. So we're going to start with the index finger. And right here on the first phalange, I could see some crosses. Kind of hash mark. Yeah, you see that kind of that sort of shape. So this can be an indication of a little bit of withdrawal from society, perhaps for religious reasons. Yeah, it doesn't indicate necessarily for your entire life, but a period of life, kind of for that reflection and withdrawal period. Yeah. Now let's move on to your second phalange. These just have nice horizontal lines. This can be a sign of stress, just very straight horizontal lines like that. And that stress can be brought on if you're not quite living up to the ideals that you're looking for. Okay, yeah, so, sometimes people kind of, I'm feeling stressed, but I don't quite know why. And that's what a palm reading can be helpful for, is helping you identify some of the sources. So some of that could be if you're not quite living up to your ideals. A lot of that stress will go away if you just dedicate yourself to the things that matter most to you. Yeah. Now let's move on to your third phalange here on your index finger. And here, looks like we've still got quite horizontal lines. This can be if you feel pressure to succeed, even if you don't have desire to. So, if you have a job that's very performance-based, but it's not metrics that really align with your own. Yeah, so I can see a bit of stress there. It's definitely worth looking to try and mitigate that for yourself, because that's no fun, to have that much stress. Now we'll move to your middle finger. Now, just extend that out, and I'll look at your first phalange. Okay, we've got more horizontal lines, and this can happen if you're a bit overworked or you feel like you have too much responsibility, which feels like it ties into, these sort of things. We've got 3 strong indications here that perhaps your job is not the best for you. I really would strongly advise you to consider something else where you don't have to be as stressed. Just to begin putting some feelers out to see if you might be able to find something that doesn't, have this stress just written on your hand, Yeah. So on to the second phalange here. We've got some crosses there. This can be a indication of strong eccentricity. For some people it can indicate bigotry. I don't see that in you, so I'd say probably a little bit more eccentric. Someone who withdraws a little bit due to religious reasons or devotion to a cause. Yeah. Which, is a perfectly fine way to live. There's nothing really that needs to change with that. I wouldn't say anything with that. Just, I can see it there. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to your third phalange here on your ring finger. Okay, we've got some horizontal lines here. And this, so some people could think this means that you have bad luck, but a more accurate reading is that your common sense isn't necessarily the best. I just have to tell you what I see, and that combined, I think, with that propensity towards control and manipulation, the subject not giving into it, I think it's something where you have to be really careful to just look out for yourself. Yeah, so I really recommend that. Now let's move to your ring finger. Start with your first phalange here. This has crosses, and this, I'm really seeing this strongly with your job. This usually indicates that you've put your creativity on hold for something that's less important. And so, to me, that's indicating it would probably be a really great idea for you to look in an avenue that allows you to express your creativity a bit stronger. Yeah, just those crosses there do indicate that. Then if we look to your second phalange, we've got some vertical lines. And this is showing confidence in creativity. Yeah, so it's something you know you're good at, so why not go off and do something with it? If you're creative with it, you're just kind of letting that confidence and that creativity. There's a lot of people who are very good and don't have the confidence, so use that confidence and just ride into the sunset. Seriously, you can take off and do really amazing things with what you're capable of. Yeah, definitely. Now let's look to your third phalange here on the ring finger. We have some grills. So grills are not quite as strong as the crosses that we see. They're a little bit more patchy. Crosses are a really almost troubling sign of perfectionism. So the grills are not quite as troublesome, but it does indicate a high level of perfectionism. Yeah, kind of always wanting to push it until everything's the best. When you have that level of perfectionism, you can create really good things, but it can also be really hard to get yourself started in creation process. So I recommend trying to dial it back just 10%. Just try and dial it back. Let it be 90% perfect, not 100%, and I think you'll feel a lot better. Okay? Now let's move to a very important finger, our pinky. So we'll start with your first phalange here. You've got vertical lines, which again indicates confidence, and this phalange is more to do with your speaking, so this would be in public speaking. So combining your creativity with charismatic speaking, got a lot going for you, and I would really, really try and utilize that. Yes. Then looking at your second phalange, we've got some crosses here. This can indicate that, how do I say this? You don't necessarily communicate the best in your relationships. Can indicate a slight amount of selfishness in those relationships. Not anything overt, but it's when you communicate, I can see you're a very free communicator about yourself, but it's important to take some time to also listen and find out what's happening on the other side of the coin. Yeah. And then to your third phalange, we've got some grills. And this also indicates that you can be a bit quick of speech, shall we say. Not thinking before you speak. So it may be good just to try and take a little more time to listen and take a little bit more time before you spit things out. Yeah, I'm sure you've had some arguments where you kind of said something you wish you wouldn't have. Yeah, that's very indicated in that third phalange. I can definitely see that. So it's something you can work on for sure. Now let's move to our thumb. The first phalange here, so it can actually be, you have this phalange, this one, and then this really kind of thicker line here. It's a little harder to see the phalanges on the thumb. So if you can just kind of curl your thumb in, that'll make it easier for me to see. Yeah, that's great. So let's see, on your first phalange, we've got crosses. This can indicate a bit of stubbornness, someone not very good at compromise. Yeah, I know it can be a problem for a lot of us. But said, taking that time to listen and trying to compromise just a little bit more can really, really pay off. Increase love, increase connection, definitely. Okay, now let's get to your second phalange. We've got crosses. So this can indicate someone who maybe bends the truth a little bit to benefit themselves, which I don't see it so much as in a career as much as I can see that as we're talking about the relationship. Just a little bit where you might not own up to certain things that you've actually done, chores around the house or that sort of thing, or haven't done. That's maybe the case. Yeah, so just a little more honesty wouldn't be bad. Now here at the base of the thumb, this is directly, so this is kind of the connection between your palm and the thumb. So that's why I need you to, yeah, I can see it there. Yours is actually quite distinct. And we've got vertical lines there, which indicate a general happiness and contentment. Yeah, and I can see that in your relationship, in your life. The only, I would say, in the career-wise is the place that I would look for that movement. You have a natural, intense love for life and relationships and, the people in your life, which is always going to make your life, feel great. And this can also indicate that you have a close and supportive relationship, so you're very lucky for, the person you have by your side through your life. Yeah. So, that is the reading of the basics of your poem. Obviously, there's a few other things that we could look at, but I always think that's a good place to start. I don't want to overwhelm you too much. So, the key things to take away here are change your job as soon as possible. It doesn't have to be an abrupt change, but just keep that in mind. Try and start to shift yourself there. And then just a little bit of openness and honesty in your relationship could go a long way. You already got a great relationship, so just being able to really maximize that, I think, would be wonderful for you. Okay. So that is what I can see in your poem. I hope you're able to use that information to really help your life. Okay. Oh, it's been my pleasure. That's why I've studied for years, is so I can read the poems and see those signs within them.